Hello everybody. Today we're going to be working on some drawing techniques to get three-dimensional letters. It's going to be based on this sculpture by Robert Indiana. It's called the Love Sculpture, and there are several of these all around different cities. This one I saw myself in New York City. It's quite large, as you can see by the person standing next to it, and it always attracts a lot of attention. Indiana's work has bold, simple images, especially numbers, and short words like eat, hug, and love. But this one is very well known and very famous. This particular work has been done by many other artists. It's a very favorite in school by changing the colors, changing how many are on the page, making prints of it, sewing patterns, stencils, even this in a gold ring. That's how well known and how loved it is. So let's begin. We have to start off by getting a square piece of paper. This is just printer paper and this is fine. You need a pencil, you need crayons, and if you would like, you can use a ruler. You don't have to use a ruler. It does make it look a little more precise, but you can do very well without a ruler too. So let's begin. The first thing we want to do is take this rectangular paper and make it into a square. So there's a little trick for doing that with any rectangle. I have done this on many of my lessons, but it's time I reviewed it. You take one corner, it doesn't matter which corner you take, and bring it down so that this part of your paper is even on the bottom. Okay, even on the bottom. Do not fold it. We don't want this to be bent. We just want to find out how much we have to take off. So you take your pencil. You'll have to forgive me because I'm left-handed and I'm doing this right-handed, and it really feels quite weird to me. You just draw a line right where the paper ends here. Can you see my very light line? And then you take scissors and cut that off so that you're left with a square. I usually save these little strips for other projects. You just never know when you go in and need them for something. I have a whole pile of these. If nothing else, they make good bookmarks when you're doing nothing. Okay, so here's my square. If you have a bigger paper that's a rectangle, you can turn that into a square too. That will work. Now we're going to fold the square this way, corner to corner. Then we want to open it and fold it in half the other way. So you'll be left with 4 boxes. L-O-V-E, 4 letters, 4 boxes. And by creating the letters, when we're done, you can have a lovely L-O-V-E work of art in 3-dimensional letters. So let me show you how we do it. It's important that you use your pencil to divide your boxes where you folded them. What I usually do is I bring it up, I draw the line, then I turn it around, and I draw the line again. So now I have my 4 boxes. L-O-V-E. Let's begin. Remember, make your letters large to fill in the whole box, not a little teeny letter in the middle. First thing, we'll make a regular block letter L. So I think this is about where the middle is. So we have L, I'm not using a ruler here. L, and we make it thicker. Now with a block letter L, this is shorter than this. So I'll erase that part. A block letter L. The next thing we're going to do, you know what? I made it a little too tall. You have to leave a little bit of space for your three-dimensional lines. I think that will be better. Now you're going to make matching slanted lines here. One here, and another one matching it here. And then down here, two more. They should match each other with the slant. And one more here. You see how they all match each other? We don't want to have one that looks like this. Try and make them matching in the slant. Okay, now we're going to finish our first letter. We're going to connect the dots here, right across here, straight down here. With me so far? This one meets this one right here, and then right up to this here. Make it go. There we go. There's your first three-dimensional letter, L. Now we're going to make the O. If you want to trace something, you can, but I think it's all right if you just remember, leave space if you try it yourself. O. You notice it's pretty big, and if you don't match it like this, let's fix it. Let's try and fix it so that it comes around and matches. There. Now we need the inside so it almost looks like a donut. There we go. Try and keep it thick, the same thickness all the way around. Now let's go right up here, and we're going to just follow this along and slowly come into the circle. All right. I started about the middle and came around and slowly got narrower and narrower till I got there. Then if you take this spot and come down to here, and you're going to make, it looks like a half moon, doesn't it? Right there, about where this one ends. And there's your O. Once again, start with the circle, nice and large. Make the inside circle like a donut. Go to about the middle of the top. Come around and slowly come into it and stop. Then where this one starts, so does this one. The opposite way. Come around until it meets where this one is. And there's your O. Now for the V. Remember, we need a block V. Not a skinny spaghetti letter, but we need room. A block V does not have a point. It comes across like this, and then up. If it's a little crooked, it's okay, really. Don't forget, leave room. Now let's come across here, and I'll just come right across here. See that little spot where it sticks out? I will erase that. Okay, now here's where we come to the point. Figure about this much. This is where you're going to come down, right to the point, and right to the point. You notice I had no skinny spaghetti letters. They should be, goodness, about at least as thick as your finger. Now we're going to make the V look three-dimensional. Start here and make a diagonal line just like you did for the L. One here, try and match, the diagonal, one here and one here. How are we doing so far? Good? Alrighty. Now let's go down here, and this one gets another diagonal. The three of them kind of match each other. Now we'll close this one up by going across and close this one up. If it doesn't close like mine, just extend this a little. Now, we're going to bring this point right down to this point. I think this one's a little too long. It should come in more. Your eye will tell you. Here, I'm following this line, the same angle. Yeah, mine was a little long, so the part that sticks out. And then, how we doing? Everybody got that? Then we're going to connect this one. Oh, I think about here would be good. Right down here. And I'm going to erase this line right here. There. So I have my L, O, V. Once again, start with a block letter V. It doesn't have a point here. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connect them across, and then your last point down here, about up to there, connect that. This here. It'll become a little easier when you see it with your own eyes. And the last one is probably the most complicated. That's the letter E. So once again, the same size as the L. You make a block letter E. Start with the regular letter and then make it bigger. The inside part of the E on block letters is the same size as the upper bar and the lower bar. Oh, that looks a little too skinny for me. You think so too? Me too. So that's why we have erasers. I'm going to bring this down a little. There we go. That looks better. Now, we're going to make those diagonal points again. Here, here, here. Don't worry if they're too long. We can always erase them. Here and here. And we need one over here. The same slant as this. Okay. All right. Now, this part's a little bit tricky. We need to go into this corner and make a slanted line, a diagonal line to about here. And the same thing on the bottom. Okay. Now let's start connecting. We have one here, and one here. See how long it was? Way too long, so I can erase it. Okay. Then, let me just move it over a little. We're going to connect this one straight across there. Straight across here. This one straight across here. And this one straight across there. And I did that without a ruler. My, my, my. Now, we are going to change a little bit. See the slanted line up here? to finish the three-dimensional look, we don't want this to be slanted. We want it to be straight. So this little line gets erased and it gets changed to be straight. And the same here. This line gets erased, not this one, and it gets to be straight. And there we are. We have our L-O-V-E. Now, as far as putting the color in, we're going to use one color for each letter, but we're going to create two values so that the letter is shaded. It will give it a three-dimensional look. So, my first letter, I'll use this color. So I'm going to do all of the parts that go back into the distance dark by pressing on this. So I go dark here. See how I'm pressing on the crayon? When you use crayon, it's good to have a pad under you, like a magazine or a bunch of papers under it. It makes the crayon go much nicer. Here, if you want to outline it so you don't make a mistake, the only thing you don't touch is the original letter. The original block letter will be lighter. See that? And now you have to press on the crayon to leave a good dark value of your color. Now, you do not have to use red because I used red. You can use blue, you can use green, you can use turquoise, you could even use black. As long as you can see, get two tones. All right, now for the L that's here, we press lighter. We use the same color, but now we're pressing much lighter, which gives us a lighter value of the same color. There we go. Try and go in the same direction as long as you can, and then when you get to some little spots, you may have to go. Now, I'm not pressing hard at all. So my L is done. Now I'll go on to the O. The O, the only parts that we do darker, a darker value is the part that is shaded that goes back into the distance. So this is the part that I'm going to press harder on, and you got to be careful to kind of stay within your lines with this. This is sort of like an exact science, almost. Okay, right up to there. And then in here, the only part I didn't touch so far is the original block letter O. And once again, now I'm going to take the same color and just press lighter. Got to watch out for that in there. I don't want to get it on the background, the space behind the O. There we go. As you do this, your crayon flattens down and it becomes much easier to do. Okay. I'm going to stop here because I don't think you want to watch me doing every single letter. However, I will go back to this one. Now it's time to do the background, and you want to use a color that you can really see against this. So I picked this kind of lavender. And for the background, you have to press because you want to get a good, solid color background. This, we want a dark value of the color we choose and get it all around it, right up to the letter and right up to the edge of your little square, your first square. And that's the way you do it until you finish. As you can see, here's my red L and my background. My O in my background. Don't forget, this is part of the background too. My V in my background, and the E in the background. And there you have it. A replica of Robert Indiana's famous love word. I hope you enjoy doing this, boys and girls. I know if you take your time and you're careful, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to come out very, very exciting. Until our next project, bye.